Alex had always been the steady one in his marriage to Sophia. At 35, he managed projects for a major construction firm in downtown Manhattan, handling multi-million-dollar bills that kept the city growing. Sophia worked in marketing for a tech company, and after 8 years together, Alex still made it a point to support her ambitions. When her team landed a huge contract worth millions, she couldn't stop talking about the celebration. "It's going to be amazing," she told him over dinner one night. "You have to come with me. It'll be our night out." Alex didn't hesitate. He took the afternoon off work, even helped her pick out what she'd wear, and ran errands to make sure everything went smoothly. In the taxi on the way to the Plaza Hotel, Sophia was all affection. She squeezed his hand, laughed at his jokes, and leaned her head on his shoulder. "I love that you're here," she said. "It means everything." Alex smiled, feeling like things were solid between them. He figured this event would remind her how good they had it. But as soon as they stepped into the grand ballroom, the vibe shifted. Sophia's eyes lit up at the sight of her colleagues clustered near the entrance. She gave Alex a quick peck on the cheek. "I need to say hi to everyone. The regional director's here. Mingle for a bit?" Before he could respond, she darted off into the crowd, weaving through groups of suits and dresses. Alex shrugged it off. Networking was her world, and he was fine grabbing a drink while she worked the room. He headed to the bar, ordered a glass of bourbon on the rocks, and found a spot near the edge of the action. From there, he could see Sophia in her element, shaking hands, exchanging business cards, flashing that confident smile she reserved for closing deals. It made him proud, in a way. But then he noticed her path leading her straight to the catering station, where the executive chef for the night was overseeing the spread. The chef's name was Marco, a tall Italian-American guy in his early 40s who'd built a reputation for high-end events like this. He was directing his team with quick gestures, plating appetizers, and ensuring the flow kept up with the guests. Sophia approached him first with what seemed like a professional question about the menu. "These canapés look incredible. What's the secret ingredient?" Marco answered politely, explaining the fresh herbs from a local farm. Alex watched as Sophia lingered, nodding enthusiastically. At first, it was innocent enough. But Sophia didn't move on. She asked about his background, how he got into catering, what inspired his recipes. Marco kept it brief, professional, but Sophia leaned in closer, her laughter ringing out a little too loud at his casual remarks. She touched his arm lightly while pointing to a dish, letting her hand stay there a second longer than necessary. Alex sipped his bourbon, his grip tightening on the glass. This wasn't just chit-chat, it was crossing a line. Standing right beside Marco was his wife, Liz, who helped coordinate the event logistics. She'd been chatting with a server when Sophia's approach started, but now Liz positioned herself closer, her posture stiffening. Every time Sophia laughed or reached out, Liz's eyes narrowed. She caught Alex's gaze across the room, sharp, knowing. It was like they shared an unspoken agreement. This was happening, and it sucked. Alex gave her a subtle nod, acknowledging the frustration without making a scene. Sophia circled back to Marco twice more in the next half hour. The first time, she complimented his knife skills as he sliced garnishes, standing so close that Marco had to step back to keep space. "You must work out to handle all that prep," she said, her tone playful but edged with something more. Marco deflected with a grin, mentioning long hours in the kitchen built his stamina. Liz interrupted then, pulling Marco aside to check on the dessert trays. "Everything good over here?" she asked, her voice steady but pointed at Sophia. Sophia brushed it off and moved to another group, but her energy stayed fixated. She networked with a cluster of executives, but her glances kept drifting back to the station. Alex finished his drink and ordered another, staying put to observe. He wasn't the jealous type. Trust had been their foundation, but this felt off. Sophia had promised it'd be their night, yet here she was, treating him like background noise. That's when Rita showed up. Sophia's friend from a few company events. Rita was the type who thrived on drama, always stirring conversations into gossip sessions. She spotted Alex alone and sauntered over with a martini in hand. "Hey, stranger," she said, clinking her glass against his. "Sophia's owning the room tonight, huh? Look at her go." She nodded toward the catering area, where Sophia had returned yet again, this time asking Marco about his future plans, personal stuff, like opening his own place someday. Alex kept his response neutral. "Yeah, she's in her zone." Rita leaned in, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "Some women just don't know how to appreciate what's right in front of them. If you were mine, I'd never let you out of my sight." She winked, but there was no mistaking the flirtation. Alex stepped back slightly, forcing a polite smile. Interesting take, he replied, but inside he filed it away. Rita's words hung there, adding another layer to the unease building in his chest. By now, the alcohol was flowing freely for Sophia. She'd grabbed a flute of champagne from a passing tray and was back at Marco's station for the fourth time. No pretense about the food this time. She propped her elbow on the edge of the prep table, invading his space as he arranged platters. Tell me more about that Italian heritage, she pressed, her free hand gesturing animatedly. Marco nodded along, but his responses grew shorter, his eyes flicking to Liz for backup. Liz didn't wait long. She stepped between them smoothly, addressing Sophia directly. Excuse me, but Marco's needed on the other side for a special order. Sophia blinked, caught off guard, but recovered with a laugh. Oh, come on. I'm just enjoying the expertise. You're lucky to have him. The words landed like a challenge, not a compliment. Liz held her ground, her tone firm. We make a good team. Now, if you'll excuse us. Sophia backed off, but not before shooting Rita a look across the room. The tension was palpable now, rippling through nearby guests who started to notice the repeated interactions. Whispers picked up, subtle at first, then more obvious. Alex drained his second bourbon, his mind racing. This wasn't just embarrassing, it was a public unraveling. Sophia had dragged him here to support her, and now she was making a fool of them both. As the evening hit its midpoint, the band struck up some light jazz, encouraging mingling on the dance floor. Sophia, emboldened by her drinks, made her boldest move yet. She approached Marco again, ignoring the line of guests waiting for samples. Dance with me, she asked outright, extending her hand as if it were the most natural thing. Marco froze, caught between politeness and discomfort. The nearby crowd quieted, heads turning. Liz was there in an instant, blocking the path. He's working, she said flatly. No dancing on the clock, company policy. Sophia rolled her eyes, undeterred. Lighten up. One spin won't hurt anyone. Liz's patience snapped. It hurts me. It hurts my marriage. And frankly, it hurts your husband over there watching this mess. Back off. The words cut through the air, drawing more eyes. Sophia glanced at Alex for the first time in what felt like hours, her expression flickering with surprise. But instead of diffusing, she turned to Rita, who had sidled up closer. Can you believe this? Sophia said, loud enough for half the group to hear. Everyone's so uptight. Honestly, none of it matters anyway. I could ditch him any time I wanted. Rita jumped in without missing a beat, her voice carrying. And I'd scoop him up in a second. No reason to waste a good thing. The room seemed to hold its breath. Alex felt the words hit like a gut punch, casual, cruel, and broadcast to everyone. Colleagues, clients, strangers, all witnesses to his marriage being reduced to a joke. Something inside him shifted, not just anger, but clarity. This wasn't ending quietly. The declaration hung in the air like a challenge, pulling more guests into the orbit of the drama. Sophia's words, I could ditch him any time, echoed slightly, amplified by the sudden hush around them. Rita's follow-up sealed it, turning a private slight into a public spectacle. Alex stood frozen for a split second, the bourbon glass still in his hand, processing the betrayal laid bare. But he didn't explode. Instead, he set the glass down on a nearby high-top table with deliberate calm, his mind already mapping out the next move. This wasn't just about hurt feelings anymore. It was about reclaiming control in front of everyone who'd witnessed the unraveling. Sophia laughed it off at first, waving her champagne flute as if to dismiss the tension. Come on, it was just talk, she said to Rita, but her voice carried uncertainty now. Guests nearby shifted uncomfortably, some pretended to check their phones, others leaned in to catch every word. Marco, still at his station, busied himself rearranging platters, avoiding eye contact entirely. Liz, however, didn't back down. She crossed her arms and fixed Sophia with a steady stare. Talk. You've been pushing boundaries all night. That's not talk. That's disrespect. Rita tried to play it cool, stepping forward with a forced grin. Hey, we're all friends here. No harm in a little banter. But her eyes darted to Alex, gauging his reaction. Sophia nodded along, emboldened by her friend's support. She turned slightly toward the group, raising her voice just enough to draw in a few more eavesdroppers. Exactly. It's not like it means anything. Alex knows I'm joking. He's always so chill about stuff like this. She glanced at him expectantly, as if daring him to agree and diffuse the moment. Alex didn't take the bait. He started walking toward them, his steps measured and unhurried, cutting through the cluster of onlookers. The crowd parted slightly, sensing the shift. By the time he reached the edge of their circle, the jazz band in the background seemed quieter, the clink of glasses fading. Chill, he repeated, his tone even but laced with steel. You think reducing our marriage to a punchline is chill? Sophia's eyes widened. She hadn't expected him to engage like this. Rita opened her mouth to interject, but Alex held up a hand, addressing Sophia directly. You've spent the evening flirting with another woman's husband, ignoring me completely, and now you're announcing to the room that I'm disposable. That's not a joke. That's humiliating. The words landed hard. A murmur rippled through the nearby guests. Colleagues from Sophia's firm who knew Alex from past events, clients who'd been mingling politely. One executive, a middle-aged woman who chatted with Alex earlier about construction timelines, nodded subtly in agreement. Sophia flushed, setting her glass down on a passing tray. You're overreacting. I was networking. Marco's food is amazing, that's all. But her defense rang hollow, especially with Liz standing right there. Liz spoke up again, her voice clear and composed. Networking doesn't involve touching my husband's arm every 5 minutes or asking him to dance in front of everyone. Call it what it is, harassment. Marco, who'd been silent until now, finally chimed in from behind the station. Look, I appreciate the compliments on the menu, but let's keep it professional. His tone was polite but firm, signaling he wanted no part in the escalating mess. Sophia shot him a quick look, then turned back to Alex. See, it's nothing. You're making a big deal out of this. She reached out as if to touch his arm, a habitual gesture meant to soothe, but he stepped back, breaking the contact before it happened. Rita jumped in to back her up, positioning herself between them. Alex, seriously, Sophia's had a few drinks, but she's the life of the party. You should be proud. Her words dripped with false cheer, but Alex saw through it. He'd dealt with Rita before at company barbecues, where she'd always angled for attention. Now, she was positioning herself as the opportunist, ready to capitalize on the crack in their marriage. Proud, Alex echoed, turning to her. Of what? Watching my wife chase someone else's husband while you circle like a vulture, waiting for scraps? The analogy hit Rita hard. She recoiled, her grin fading. That's not fair, she muttered, but no one jumped to her defense. The confrontation was drawing a wider audience now. The regional director, Thomas, had been circulating the room, shaking hands and toasting the new contract. But he'd paused near the dance floor, his sharp eyes picking up on the raised voices. Thomas was a no-nonsense leader in his late 50s, known for prioritizing company image above all. He started walking over, weaving through the crowd with purpose. Sophia noticed him approaching and straightened up, her professional instincts kicking in. Thomas, hi, great event, right? She said, trying to pivot the conversation. But Thomas wasn't buying the deflection. He'd seen enough of the evening's interactions to piece it together. Sophia's repeated trips to the catering station, the awkward deflections from Marco and Liz, the growing whispers. What's going on here? He asked, his voice low but authoritative, addressing the group. Liz didn't hesitate. She stepped forward, speaking directly to him. This woman's been inappropriate with my husband all night. Flirting, touching, even asking him to dance despite me being right there. It's gone beyond networking. It's creating a hostile environment. Thomas's expression hardened as he processed her words. He glanced at Sophia, then at Alex, recognizing him from Sophia's mentions in meetings. Is this accurate? He pressed Sophia. She stammered. It's exaggerated. I was just being friendly, complimenting the food. But Thomas held up a hand, silencing her. Friendly doesn't explain the complaints I'm hearing from staff. And now this public spat? We're celebrating a major win tonight, not airing personal dramas. He turned to Alex. You've been quiet through this. Anything to add? Alex met his gaze steadily. She's right about the flirting. I've watched it unfold. But the real issue is what she just said, that she could ditch me anytime, like I'm an afterthought. And Rita here offered to scoop me up right after, in front of clients and colleagues. The specifics made it real. Thomas's jaw tightened. He knew the stakes. A harassment claim could tank the company's reputation, especially with vendors like Marco's team present. I've seen enough, Thomas declared, his decision swift. Sophia, your behavior tonight is unacceptable. Harassing a vendor, disrupting the event, and now this? You're off the team, effective immediately. Security will escort you out. Sophia's face drained of color. You can't fire me over this. It was a party. People loosen up. She appealed to Alex next, grabbing his sleeve. Tell them it's not that bad. We can talk later. But Alex pulled away gently but firmly. No, You made your choices tonight. This is the consequence. Rita backed up a step, suddenly silent, realizing her quip had backfired spectacularly. The crowd watched as two security guards in dark suits approached, summoned discreetly by Thomas's gesture to a nearby staffer. As they flanked Sophia, she protested louder. This is insane. Alex, do something. But he stood his ground, his voice cutting through. I am doing something. I'm ending this farce of a marriage. Divorce papers start tomorrow. The words stunned her into silence for a moment, then she lashed out. You'll regret this. I built my career. You can't just throw it away. The guards guided her toward the exit, her heels clicking sharply against the floor as she twisted to look back. Rita slipped away into the throng, avoiding any further involvement. The room exhaled collectively once the doors closed behind her. Thomas clapped Alex on the shoulder. That took guts. You handled it right. Liz approached too, her tension easing. Thank you for seeing it and not letting it slide. You probably saved my evening. Marco nodded from afar, relieved. Alex accepted the thanks with a nod, but inside, the weight of the night settled in. He'd supported Sophia through promotions and tough projects, only for her to dismantle everything in one reckless evening. As the band resumed playing, guests returned to conversations, but the story was already spreading, whispers of the confrontation fueling the night's real buzz. In the aftermath, Alex stepped outside for air, the cool Manhattan night hitting his face. He replayed the events, Sophia's flirtations escalating, Rita's opportunistic jabs, the public dismissal. It wasn't revenge yet, just the spark. But as he hailed a cab home alone, he felt a strange clarity. The marriage was over, exposed for what it was. Tomorrow, he'd call his lawyer and start rebuilding on his terms. The ballroom doors swung shut behind Sophia and the security guards, muffling her final protests into echoes down the hallway. The jazz band picked up again, filling the space with upbeat notes that clashed against the lingering tension. Guests exchanged glances, some shaking their heads, others murmuring approvals under their breath. Alex stood there, heart pounding but voice steady, as Thomas turned to him fully. You okay? The director asked, his tone shifting from authoritative to supportive. Alex nodded once. Yeah, just processing. Inside, though, the reality hit. 8 years of marriage, dismantled in minutes. But he pushed it down. This wasn't the time to crumble. The crowd was watching, and he wouldn't give Sophia or Rita the satisfaction of seeing him break. Liz approached first, her steps quick but controlled. She placed a hand on Alex's arm briefly, a gesture of solidarity. I can't thank you enough, she said. You didn't have to step in like that, but you did. Marco and we've been through rough patches, but tonight could have been worse. Marco joined her a moment later, wiping his hands on a towel from the station. She's right. I tried to keep it light, but Sophia wouldn't let up. Appreciate you backing us. Alex shook Marco's hand firmly. No one deserves that kind of treatment. Glad I could help. The exchange grounded him, turning his isolation into unexpected alliance. A few of Sophia's colleagues drifted over too. One woman from her marketing team, who'd always been kind to Alex at company picnics, squeezed his shoulder. That was brave. She crossed a line, no question. Thomas lingered nearby, scanning the room to ensure the event stayed on track. He signaled a server to refresh drinks, then pulled Alex aside slightly. Look, this isn't just personal. Her actions tonight could have led to real issues, complaints from vendors, bad press for the contract launch. You calling it out saved us a headache. Alex appreciated the candor. Thomas had always been straight-shooting in meetings. I didn't do it for the company, Alex replied. But yeah, it needed to stop. Thomas nodded, then added, if you need anything, references for your side of things, whatever, let me know. You've got integrity. The offer hung there, a small lifeline in the chaos. As Thomas moved on to check with other guests, Alex felt the first crack of relief. He wasn't alone in this. Rita, meanwhile, had melted into the background like she'd never been part of the spotlight. Alex spotted her near the bar, chatting animatedly with a group that didn't include her usual crowd. She avoided his direction entirely. Her earlier bravado evaporated. When their eyes met briefly across the room, she looked away fast, busying herself with a fresh drink. Alex didn't pursue it. Her silence spoke volumes. She'd jumped in to humiliate him, positioning herself as the better option, but now faced the fallout of her own words. Whispers reached him later, Rita excusing herself early, claiming a headache, but really dodging the judgment from those who'd overheard her quip. The party resumed its rhythm, but the energy had shifted. Conversations buzzed with the incident. Guests recounting Sophia's flirtations, her bold dance request, the explosive declaration. Alex fielded a few direct questions. What was that about? From a client he'd networked with earlier? Or you all right, man? From a fellow project manager who'd arrived late. He kept responses short and composed. Rough night, but it's handled. Each interaction reinforced his stance. People respected his calm under fire. One older executive even pulled him into a quick chat about resilience in business, drawing parallels to tough project deadlines. You navigated that like a pro, the man said. Reminds me of closing that bridge deal last year. Steady hand wins. As the evening wore on, Alex stepped out to the hotel's terrace for a breather. The New York skyline twinkled below, traffic humming far beneath. He pulled out his phone, scrolling through contacts until he landed on his lawyer's number. Sarah, a no-nonsense attorney who'd handled their prenup years back. He didn't call yet. Instead, he texted, "Need to discuss divorce. Urgent. Tomorrow?" Her reply came quick. "Absolutely. 9 a.m. work." Alex confirmed, the simple act committing him to the path ahead. Back inside, the event was winding down. Desserts circulating, final toasts to the contract. Thomas took the mic briefly, praising the team's hard work without mentioning the drama, but his nod to Alex from the stage felt deliberate. Liz and Marco caught up with him again near the exit. "We're heading out soon," Liz said. "But seriously, dinner sometime? Not as thanks, just normal people stuff." Alex smiled genuinely for the first time that night. "I'd like that. Text me." Their contact info exchanged, they parted with handshakes. Walking out alone, Alex hailed a cab on Fifth Avenue. The driver asked about his night. Alex chuckled dryly. Eventful. In the quiet ride home, he pieced together the night's lessons. Sophia's actions weren't isolated. They'd been building, subtle dismissals turning into overt disregard. He'd ignored red flags before, chalking them up to stress, but tonight stripped away the excuses. The next morning dawned crisp, Alex up early despite the late night. He met Sarah at her office in Midtown, laying out the details over coffee. 30 witnesses, he explained, including her boss. Flirting with a married vendor, public humiliation of our marriage, her friend egging it on. Sarah jotted notes, her expression focused. That's gold for your case. Infidelity isn't proven, but emotional abuse and public conduct? Courts eat that up. No fault stayed, but we can push for favorable asset split. She outlined steps, filing papers, gathering statements, freezing joint accounts to protect his earnings. Alex absorbed it, signing initial forms. Keep it clean, he instructed. No drama, just facts. Sarah nodded. Smart. We'll aim for quick resolution. Words spread fast in their circles. By afternoon, Alex's phone lit up with messages from mutual friends, supportive texts like, "Heard what happened. You deserve better," from Sophia's old roommate, or "Stand strong," from a work buddy. Even Thomas emailed, "If Sophia reaches out through work channels, direct her to HR. We're handling internally." Alex replied thanks, then blocked Sophia's number preemptively. She tried calling anyway from a work line that afternoon, leaving a voicemail. "Alex, this is crazy. Come home, we can fix it." He deleted it without listening fully, focusing instead on a run in Central Park to clear his head. Weeks blurred into a routine of legal prep. Alex collected affidavits. Liz and Marco provided written accounts of the harassment. Thomas submitted a termination report citing conduct violations. Rita stayed silent, but a colleague mentioned she'd been dodging questions at a follow-up meeting, her social invites drying up. Sophia's attempts escalated, emails pleading for talks, a delivery of his favorite takeout to the apartment with a note saying "miss you." Alex forwarded them to Sarah, who advised no response. "Starve the contact," she said. "It strengthens your position." The divorce hearing came after 2 months, streamlined by the evidence. The judge reviewed witness statements, nodding at the pattern of behavior. "This isn't a simple split," she noted. "Public actions have consequences." Assets divided in Alex's favor. No alimony. The apartment stayed with him as primary earner, joint savings split evenly, but with her owing minor fees from the incident's fallout. Sophia sat across the room, represented by a junior lawyer, her protests minimal. When the gavel fell, she approached hesitantly. "Alex, friends?" He shook his head. "No. Move on." Walking out, free papers in hand, Alex felt unburdened. Rebuilding started small, gym sessions to channel energy, lunches with new contacts from the party. Invites poured in, networking events where his story preceded him, earning respect. One evening, he met up with Liz and Marco at a casual Italian spot. Laughter flowed easily, stories of kitchen mishaps lightening the mood. That night bonded us weirdly, Marco joked. Alex agreed, toasting to fresh starts. Sophia's side darkened. Blacklisted in marketing circles, she bounced between temp gigs, her reputation preceding her. Rita cut ties completely, focusing on her own drama. Alex ignored the rumors, thriving instead. The plaza night, once a nightmare, became his pivot, proof that standing firm reclaims power. The divorce papers hit Alex's inbox the morning after the hearing, stamped final by the court. He printed them out, signed the last acknowledgement, and filed them away in a drawer. Done, just like that. No ceremonies, no shared glances in a lawyer's office. Sophia's team had pushed for a quick virtual session to minimize contact. Alex leaned back in his home office chair, staring at the screen for a moment. Relief washed over him, mixed with a hollow echo of what had been. 8 years reduced to legalese, but the weight lifted. He texted Sarah, "All set. Thanks for the smooth ride." Her reply buzzed back, "You earned it. Call if she appeals." Unlikely, but prepared. Life accelerated from there. Alex dove into work, taking on a high-profile project redesigning a waterfront complex in Brooklyn. His boss praised the focus, noting how Alex's attention to detail shone brighter post-split. "Whatever lit that fire, keep it burning," the boss said during a team huddle. Colleagues nodded, some pulling him aside later with quiet support. "Heard about the gala. Sorry, man. Glad you're good." Invites followed, a construction industry mixer at a rooftop bar in Chelsea, where Alex networked effortlessly, sharing project tips without mentioning the personal drama. One connection led to a consulting gig on the side, boosting his income and schedule. Socially, things opened up too. Liz and Marco followed through on their dinner invite, organizing a low-key gathering at a bistro in Little Italy. Alex arrived on time, greeting them with handshakes. "No drama tonight," Marco joked as they sat. Conversation flowed, Marco recounting a chaotic catering job gone right, Liz sharing event planning wins. Alex opened up a bit. "That night at the plaza? It forced my hand, but it was overdue." Liz raised her glass. "To silver linings." They exchanged stories late into the evening, parting with plans for a group hike. The normalcy felt good, a stark contrast to Sophia's chaos. Word of Alex's handling of the incident spread in professional circles, turning him into a quiet legend. At the mixer, a marketing exec from another firm approached. "You're the guy from Sophia's blow-up, right?" "Respect." Most would have folded. Alex shrugged it off. "Just stood my ground." The story's ripple effect worked in his favor. Potential clients sought him out, valuing his poise. Even Thomas reached out via LinkedIn, endorsing Alex's skills publicly. Reliable under pressure, the recommendation read, opening doors to bigger contracts. Sophia's attempts to reconnect started subtly, then ramped up. A week after the divorce, an email landed in his inbox from a new address. "Alex, it's me. Can we talk? I miss our routines." He forwarded it to Sarah, who advised archiving without reply. Days later, a package arrived at his door, his old coffee mug from their shared collection, wrapped with a note. "Thought you'd want this. Remember our mornings?" Alex set it aside unopened, donating it later to an office raffle. She escalated to texts from burner numbers. "I was wrong. Let's meet for coffee." Each one went unread, deleted on sight. Rita's fallout hit harder than expected. She'd ghosted Sophia immediately after the gala, but rumors circled back to Alex through mutual contacts. At a casual lunch with a former colleague, the topic surfaced. Rita's scrambling, lost a promotion after the whispers about her "scoop me up" line. She's blaming Sophia, but no one's buying it. Alex nodded, unsurprised. Rita had tried reaching him once, a LinkedIn message. "Hey, water under the bridge." He ignored it, blocking her profile. Her opportunism backfired. Invitations to events dried up, and she switched firms quietly, avoiding the old crowd. Sophia struggled more visibly. Blacklisted in core marketing roles, she landed freelance gigs, social media audits for small startups, nothing steady. A friend mentioned spotting her at a coffee shop job interview. Nerves frayed. "She's asking about you," the friend texted Alex. "Says she regrets everything." He didn't respond, but the updates painted a picture. Apartment downsized, social circle shrunk. One bold move came via a mutual acquaintance. Sophia cornered the person at a gym class, pleading for Alex's new number. "Tell him I'm changing," she reportedly said. The acquaintance related to Alex, who thanked them but shut it down. "No need. It's over." Alex's dating life sparked unexpectedly. At the rooftop mixer, he struck up a conversation with Jordan, a project coordinator from a partnering firm. She laughed at his dry humor about site delays, and they swapped numbers. Their first coffee turned into walks in the park, simple dates where Alex shared bits of his story without dwelling. "Sounds like you dodged a bullet," Jordan said one evening, linking arms. "Yeah," Alex agreed. Now focusing forward. No rush, but the connection built steadily. Dinners, weekend trips upstate. It highlighted what he'd missed: mutual respect, easy trust. Liz and Marco became steady friends, inviting Alex to their home for a barbecue. There, he met their circle, other couples in the event biz, swapping war stories. "That gala tested us," Liz admitted over grilled veggies. "But it made us tighter," Marco added, Sophia's pushiness. "It woke me up to appreciate what I have." Alex shared a laugh, toasting again. The group dynamic eased old wounds, turning the plaza into a shared anecdote rather than a scar. Sophia's final push came 3 months post-divorce, a handwritten letter delivered by mail. "Alex, I know I ruined us. The alcohol, the flirting, it was stupid. But losing you hurts most. Can we try friends?" Sarah reviewed it, greenlighting a response if he wanted closure. Alex drafted one. "No contact. Move on." He sent it certified, then blocked the return address. Silence followed. Her outreach stopped cold. Professionally, Alex thrived. The Brooklyn project wrapped ahead of schedule, earning him a bonus and team lead spot. Thomas called personally. "Impressive work. Ever think about our side?" The offer tempted, but Alex stayed put, leveraging it for a raise. Socially, Jordan integrated into his routine: movie nights, brunches with Liz and Marco. Life normalized, richer without the toxicity. One evening, scrolling news on his couch, Alex reflected. The gala's humiliation had been the catalyst, exposing cracks he'd ignored. Sophia's words, "Ditch him anytime," gave him the out he needed. Now, with steady work, real friends, and a partner who valued him, the past felt distant. A text from Jordan buzzed. "Dinner tonight?" He replied yes, stepping out into a clear night. The reckoning was complete, justice served, future bright. 6 months after the Plaza Hotel fallout, Alex's life had settled into a rhythm he hadn't known he needed. The Brooklyn waterfront project not only finished on time, but earned industry buzz, landing him a feature in a trade magazine. His boss called him into the office one afternoon, sliding a promotion letter across the desk. "Senior project manager, effective next week. You've been killing it." Alex shook the offered hand, the raise and added responsibilities feeling like earned ground. He texted Jordan right after. "Good news. Celebrate later?" Her reply came instant. "Absolutely." Italian? The ease of it all, no second guessing, no hidden agendas, made the difference clear. Jordan had become a fixture, their relationship growing without the drama that defined his marriage. They met through work circles, bonded over shared frustrations with tight deadlines, and built from there. One weekend, they drove to the Hudson Valley for a cabin getaway, hiking trails by day, cooking simple meals at night. "Tell me more about that gala," she asked over campfire s'mores one evening. Alex recounted the key beats: Sophia's escalating flirtations, Rita's opportunistic jab, the swift escort out. Jordan listened, then squeezed his hand. "Sounds like you reclaimed your power that night. Proud of you for it." No pity, just support. It reinforced why this felt right. Friendships deepened too. Liz and Marco hosted a holiday gathering at their place, inviting Alex and Jordan along with a dozen others from the event world. Laughter filled the air as Marco demonstrated a quick pasta toss in the kitchen, pulling everyone in to help. "Remember the plaza appetizers?" Liz teased Alex. Those were the last things Sophia complimented before everything blew up. The group chuckled, but Marco turned serious. "Her persistence that night? It was a wake-up for us. Made me prioritize what matters." Alex raised his glass. To lessons learned. Jordan fit seamlessly, chatting recipes with Liz, the night ending with plans for a spring barbecue. These connections turned the old pain into shared strength. Sophia's decline became more apparent through indirect channels. A mutual friend from her old team reached out to Alex via email, updating without prompting. "She's struggling, bounced from another freelance setup after rumors surfaced. Blames the industry, but words out about the harassment claim." Alex read it once, then archived. No schadenfreude, just confirmation that actions carried weight. Rita fared no better. She'd jumped to a smaller agency, but her reputation as a troublemaker stuck. At an industry conference Alex attended, He overheard two marketers dismissing her pitch. That's the one from the gala scandal. Pass. She spotted him across the room, hesitated, then turned away. Alex didn't engage. Her choices isolated her. Sophia's outreach peaked around the 1-year mark from the divorce. It started with a LinkedIn connection request, which Alex declined. Then a card arrived by mail, postmarked from a suburb outside the city. Alex, life's taught me hard lessons. I lost my job, my friends, everything because of that night. Wish I could take it back. If you're open to talking, I'm here. Sarah reviewed it during a quick check-in call. Still no response advised. She's fishing for sympathy, don't bite. Alex agreed, shredding the card. A week later, she tried a different tack, contacting Jordan through a work email, claiming closure for Alex's sake. Jordan forwarded it to him immediately. Blocked and reported, she said when he showed her. Not your circus anymore. The boldest attempt came unannounced. Alex returned from a site visit one rainy afternoon to find Sophia waiting outside his building, umbrella in hand. She stepped forward as he approached. Alex, please, just 5 minutes. He stopped, keeping distance. How'd you find out where I live? She shrugged. Asked around. I need to explain. Jordan, arriving moments later from a nearby errand, pulled up and honked. Alex waved her off gently. Go ahead, I'll handle. Turning back to Sophia, he kept it brief. No explanations needed. You made your bed that night at the plaza. Live with it. She pleaded. I was drunk, stressed. The contract pressure got to me. Alex shook his head. Excuses. You humiliated me, harassed a couple, tanked your career. We're done. Security from the building emerged at his gesture, escorting her away as she called back weakly. Jordan waited inside, handing him a towel. You good? He nodded. Better than ever. That encounter closed the door for good. Sophia stopped trying after that. Rumors said she relocated to a smaller town, taking a retail management role far from marketing. No more messages, no sightings. Alex filed a no-contact order through Sarah just in case, but it went unused. The silence brought peace, letting him focus on what built up instead of tore down. Professionally, momentum built. Thomas's old firm circled back with a partnership offer, consulting on major builds. Alex negotiated terms over lunch, securing flexibility for his schedule. Your rep precedes you, Thomas said. That gala showed character under fire. Alex accepted, balancing it with his main job. Socially, the circle expanded. Jordan's friends integrated, group outings to baseball games or trivia nights. One evening, over drinks with Liz, Marco, and Jordan, the conversation looped back to the plaza. If Sophia hadn't said those words, Marco mused, things might have dragged on. Alex agreed. Her ditch him anytime line? It freed me. Gave me the push to act. Reflections came in quiet moments. Running along the East River at dawn, Alex thought about the before and after. He'd been the supporter, covering shifts when Sophia traveled, celebrating her wins. But her entitlement eroded that, peaking in public betrayal. The 30 witnesses not only validated his pain, but empowered the outcome. No alimony battles, clean asset split, reputation intact. Rita's fade-out underscored the opportunists who circled broken marriages. Now, with Jordan's steady presence, real friends, and career highs, Alex saw the full arc. Humiliation flipped to empowerment. The ultimate irony hit during a casual catch-up with Thomas. Sophia reached out to us once, angling for a reference, he shared. We shut it down, policy on conduct issues. Alex laughed softly. She thought she held all the cards that night. Turns out, she handed them to me. Thomas nodded. And you played them right. As the first anniversary of the gala approached, Alex planned a low-key toast with Jordan and the group. No big deal, just gratitude. Life moved forward, richer for the rupture. Sophia's quest for control backfired spectacularly. Job gone, marriage dissolved, dignity shattered. Alex emerged stronger, proof that boundaries enforced yield justice. The plaza wasn't a ruin, it was rebirth. If this tale of sweet revenge hit home, smash that like button and subscribe for more real-life turnarounds. What would you have done in Alex's shoes? Drop it in the comments below.